Hi, everyone. On behalf of Beth, Katie, and Hannah, and myself, I'd like to welcome all of you to Biology 2319, the biology of marine organisms, or you can think of it as a marine ecology course, really. Today, I'm going to be sharing with you some details of our wonderful Blackboard page that we've been working on. We're going to walk through some of the syllabus details, some of the assignments, and some policies for the semester so that y'all can get up on the same foot. So really quickly, I'm going to introduce myself to those of you who have never met me, which is everyone. My name is Justin Bauman. I'm going to be the instructor for this course. Finished my PhD at the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill in 2018, and I'm a visiting professor here at Bowdoin. You can learn more about me by going to our Flipgrid page, which is where you'll be recording some weekly videos for us for the first 8 or so weeks of the course. And I'm going to walk you through that in a little bit. But I have a little intro video that talks about me a little bit. And hopefully you'll get to know me as the semester continues, as you come to my office hours and to Beth's office hours and to Friday class. Okay, so without further ado, you can all see my screen. So I'm going to walk you through our course Blackboard page, which is live and available to you now. So on Blackboard, I've got it in student preview mode so you can kind of see what it would look like to you. We have Biology of Marine Organisms Fall 2020, and this is our landing page or our home page. And here there is a tab for announcements, what's new, and then a to-do list. I've never used Blackboard before. I have used other learning management systems, but never Blackboard. So I'm not sure actually how to make the to-do list work. So I'm just gonna not use it until I can figure it out. If one of y'all is like really good at Blackboard, feel free to hit me up in an email and teach me how to do this. I have figured out a lot of other functionality though. So what's really important about Blackboard is that when you load into Blackboard, you can't see our table of contents. So in order to find that, you go over to the left of your screen and you'll see this little tab appear, Show Course Menu. That is where you want to live. That course menu has all of the things, like all of the things are there. Okay, so our homepage, I've already kind of shown you how super not important that is. But if you click on the Syllabus and Getting Started tab, you'll see that there are a few pieces of information in here for you. First is a link to schedule a meeting with me. Second is a link to our course Flipgrid page, which you don't know anything about yet, but you will learn about shortly. And then third, our syllabus is here in its entirety on this page. It's also available for download here as an attached file. So I'm going to read it off on the page so that I don't have to switch my screen share. And then we're going to go from there. So let's really quickly cover the syllabus. First of all, this is Biology 2319 or Environmental Science 2229, depending on who you are and what major you are. The instructor is me. Here's my email address, jbauman@bowdoin.edu. I do technically have an office. That's 130C Druckenmiller Hall. I'm not sure we're ever going to be able to meet in said office. For those of you who are here in Brunswick, I am also here in Brunswick. And if we wanted to have a person-to-person meeting, we maybe would be able to do that outside or potentially at my office. But as of right now, you're not going to be permitted to come into Druckenmiller Hall unless you are an honors student. So you probably will not be meeting me there. We'll probably mostly be meeting right here. Okay, so there's my email address. Our lab instructor is Beth Whalen. Her email is here. Her phone number is included as well. She does have an office as well in Druck. And her office hours are going to be by email appointment in addition to mine. Again, we're probably not going to meet you in our offices. You're most likely going to meet us via Zoom, or you can just contact us via email and we can exchange emails if needed. You also have 2 wonderful undergraduate TAs, Hannah and Katie. Their emails are here. They're here to help you with associated tasks for the course, things like your weekly assignments, your coding assignments, your writing assignments, and just any general questions that you have that maybe you would rather ask a peer instead of an instructor. That's totally fine. Okay, so course description. This is the Biology of Marine Organisms. You all know what you signed up for. This is supposed to be a very hands-on field-based course where we go poke around in a whole bunch of different ecosystems here in Maine and really get our feet wet and our hands dirty and explore all sorts of cool organisms and ecosystems. We are still going to do that. We're just not going to do that all together in the same place. And some of you probably won't actually like physically be putting your hands on an organism. But Beth and I have recorded a whole bunch of really awesome field trips to show you what the ecosystems around Maine look like. And we're hoping that those are going to work really great for this course. You're here if you have all these prerequisites met, or if you have permission of the instructor. I'm going to let y'all worry about that. So I just want to really quickly talk about our course learning goals and objectives. First and foremost, Beth and I have been working really hard all summer since I was hired, since the day I interviewed even, to make this course as interesting, fun, and engaging as we possibly can. Really what we want you to do from this course. We want you to walk away, of course, meeting these objectives, but we want you to walk away with a better understanding of the natural world. And we want you to learn to appreciate the ecosystems that are around you and to be able to look at them and understand how they're functioning and what's related to what and kind of how the ecology works. So really that's what we're trying to develop in you and help you learn. And if you already have some of those things, then you're going to really love this class, because that's what it's all about, is just going out, observing, understanding, and thinking about stuff. So our course learning goals, I like to go through these because they're important for you to understand kind of where we're coming from, and what the end goal is, what you're going to be tested on, or what you're going to be assessed on, essentially. We want you to be able to demonstrate the knowledge of marine organismal taxonomy and ecology. So hopefully you're going to get that through our field trips and through our labs. We also want you to be able to link form to function. So an organism has various different forms, say, a shell or some other kind of trait. What is the function of that trait and why is it important? We want you to be able to explain relationships between organisms and adaptations required for organismal success and survival. This is basically just, we want you to understand how ecology works. So we're going to walk you through some basic ecological principles, and then you're going to apply them to the ecosystems and to the problems that we're giving you in the course. We also want you to be able to then take that new knowledge, or that knowledge that maybe you're building on in this semester, and apply it to new problems within the marine environment. So how can we critically think and how can we critically apply what we've learned in one system to another system? And I'm going to be teaching you some stuff, especially with regards to physiology, that isn't really necessarily 100% focused on marine organisms. And you're also going to be looking at probably a non-marine system every week for the first 10 weeks of class while you're doing a project for us. So we're hoping that you can learn how to apply all these principles across different ecosystems. Okay. I also would love for you to learn how to read, comprehend, and synthesize information and data seen in the primary literature. And I'm going to try to give you those skills as we move through the class. But this is going to be a learning experience for all of us, especially as we can't really see each other as well. So I can't really necessarily see all of your reactions to everything, which makes it harder for me to understand, the pacing of the class and whether or not things are clear. So it would be great if people would come to office hours or send me emails and tell me, what's hard, what's easy. Do we need to go faster or slower, that kind of stuff. In addition to the primary literature, we also want you to learn useful coding skills, particularly in the programming language R, which is going to be useful for any career in a bioscience. So if you're thinking about being a biologist, you're thinking about med school, you're thinking about ecology, graduate school, whatever, any career in biosciences is going to require data manipulation, statistics, and visualizations like graphs. R is really, really flexible and is widely used in our field. And y'all are going to learn some, and it's going to be great. Even if you're afraid of computers, even if you hate coding or have never done it before and are really terrified of this, there's a learning curve, but I'm here to help. Your TAs are here to help, and we are going to help you get some skills. And hopefully by the end of it, you're going to walk away saying, like, I can do some pretty cool stuff. Okay, we're also going to help you with some presentation skills. So you're going to be presenting scientific data and results to us with writing and with verbal presentations, and you're going to be trying to learn how to place your results and results of other people's papers into a broader context, to think critically about why it matters that we did that study and why it matters that we found what we found. We also hopefully will help you develop effective and thoughtful writing skills about scientific concepts through a collaboration with the writing project here at Bowdoin. More on that later. And then lastly, we want you to really understand and critically think about the roles of various taxonomic groups and ecosystem structure and function. So that's like kind of a word salad. And really the end goal of that is I want you to learn marine ecology, and I want you to think it's cool, and I want you to develop some skills that you can take away outside of just taxonomy. I want you to learn how to code, to learn how to read and analyze technical papers, and how to present scientific papers to any audience. So I think those are really tangible skills that you can develop in this class and walk away and go get a job or go to graduate school or wherever you want to go later in life. Okay, so the bread and butter of why we're here really is for me to tell you how we're going to meet. Obviously, this class is online only. And what that means is that we're going to have some challenges. We have 23 students. Those 23 students are potentially on as many as, well, they're definitely already on 2 continents, and we are in as many as 6 time zones. We have 2 students who are going to be joining us through video chat in New Zealand. So that is going to make things a little bit difficult for programming in terms of timing, because New Zealand is 16 hours ahead of us. So most of the time when we're meeting, it's literally tomorrow for them, which is pretty crazy. So we're going to figure that out. And I'm going to kind of tell you what solutions we've gotten so far. So thanks to everybody who responded to my earlier email. I can tell you that I asked people about synchronous versus asynchronous, their internet connection, where they were living, what time zone they were in, how many times they want to meet, things like that. And as you might imagine, the answers were completely all across the board. By and large, most people were really understanding that we need to be as flexible as possible. I had a few students who really wanted as much synchronous time as possible. I had students who basically just said, give me assignments. I don't even need to see your face and I'll still get my work done. All of that is great and fine. And I want you to be able to do whatever you need to do to succeed in this class. But I'm trying to find a happy middle ground that works for everyone. So what we've come up with is that due to the equity issues associated with synchronous learning and our time zone differences and just the struggle of finding a time that works for everybody within our very limited block 9 time, we are only going to have 1 synchronous meeting time per week. And that will be on Fridays, Eastern time anyway, from 2:30 to 3:50 p.m. That's Eastern time. Again, if you're in New Zealand, that's going to literally be Saturday. And it's not going to be at a fun time either. It's kind of in the middle of the night. I'm not expecting you to come to my 2 Kiwis. We have something else planned for y'all. This synchronous session will include discussions of readings. It will include time for project work. It will include some guest lectures from some really awesome people. It's also going to include our programming sessions. It will be recorded in full and made available asynchronously to you with captions if possible, well, ideally with captions, as early as the end of the day on Friday. As possibly it will be a couple of days. It might be Monday before the captions are up, but I will upload as soon as I possibly can the recording of those sessions for all of you to have. Importantly, there is no attendance in this class. Synchronous learning is not mandatory. If you don't have good internet access, if something happens, if you just can't come at that time because you have a job or whatever, you do not have to be there. Asynchronous learning entirely is fine. If you do come, great, you're going to learn more. Hopefully, you're going to be able to interact with us. Note, if you come to synchronous classes, we're hoping that you're going to have your video on, but I'm not going to make that a requirement. It makes the experience easier for all of us and a little bit more interactive. But again, if you're not comfortable with your video on, that's fine. If you want to put up a fake background or turn yourself into a cucumber or like whatever, using a filter, like do whatever you want. I'd prefer it if you came with your video on and you wanted to interact, but again, if that's not how you want to do things, that's totally okay. You'll note here that I've got a Zoom link for all of our Friday classes in the syllabus. Every single Friday at 2:30 p.m., you can click on this Zoom link and you can join our session. Okay, in addition to the Friday synchronous learning, I'm also offering office hours during the other 2 block 9 times. So that's Tuesday at 12:30 to 1:50 p.m. and Thursday from 8 to 9:20 a.m., which is really quite early in the morning, but that's the time they gave us, so we're going to use it. Okay, here's the links for those 2 office hours. And then on Tuesday nights from 5:30 to 6:50 p.m., we're going to be doing a makeup class session. And that is going to be for my Kiwi folks. We've organized this time based on their schedules. So Beth, myself, and our 2 students who are in New Zealand are going to be meeting instead of on Fridays, on Tuesdays. Notably, they're going to start on Tuesday before your first Friday class. So they'll start next Tuesday night. Anybody's welcome to join us. If you want, we're going to be going over the same material we cover on Friday, but if you want to join us on Tuesday, you are more than welcome. So if you know in advance that you're going to miss a Friday, come to Tuesday. If you miss a Friday unexpectedly, you can still come to Tuesday, and you can get new material for the next week, or you can come to my Tuesday office hours and you can talk to me about what you missed. Okay, a couple of details about Tuesday and Thursday office hours. For the first 15 or 20 minutes of each of those office hours, I will be giving my lectures. I was planning on doing all of my lectures asynchronously, but so many of you asked for synchronous time. I would like to invite you to my office hours for the first 15 or 20 minutes of each of my office hours on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I will be presenting my lectures live in real time. You're welcome to join me. Those 15 or 20 minutes of lecture will be recorded, including questions if anybody has them, unless you can also type them in the chat, and we'll kind of work through that as we go. But those sessions will be recorded, just those 15 or 20 minutes where I'm giving my lecture. And then the slides and the recording will be available to everybody with captioning as soon as physically possible after those recordings are done. I will turn the recording function off when I'm done with my lecture, and we will have the rest of my office hour time together to deal with coding problems, to talk about whatever you need to talk about, and to work through content that maybe you were confused about or you need help with. Okay, so office hours will not be recorded, but those first 15 or 20 minutes in which I'm giving my lectures in a potentially synchronous way will be recorded. And again, y'all are welcome to join while I talk through those lectures. I figured I would make it available to you because I know some of you really want to have that time where you can come and see my face and listen to me talk and ask me questions. Please, please come. I'd love to see you in my office hours. On Tuesdays, during my office hour time, on this same office hour link that I highlighted just now, Beth will also be present. So Beth and I will be in 2 different rooms. I will put Beth into a breakout room, and y'all will have the ability to go back and forth between my room and her room. Feel free to ask us to move if that's what you need to do. It's going to be a pretty low-key situation. I'm not going to be offended if you join my room and then want to go see Beth. She will not be offended if you leave her room to come see me. We just want you to get the help that you need and to be able to talk to somebody about what's going on with you in this class. So that's how office hours are going to work. All right, and I provided lots of details in the text for you to read about all of this. So now you know about Friday class, you know about Tuesday office hours, you know about Tuesday makeup class at night, and you know about Thursday office hours. Of note, Beth will not be present on Thursday office hours. Her office hours are only going to be on Tuesdays and by email appointment. Okay, one last thing about meetings. If you need to meet with me outside of all of those hours I just gave you, I will be available for you. You can click on this calendar link right here, this Calendly link, and that'll take you to a new website right here where you can schedule a 30-minute meeting with me. And that's synced to my actual calendar. So you can see what times I have available. You can make a recommendation for a calendar invite, and then I will get an email. If it works for me, I will send you a Zoom link and we'll meet at that time. So if you can't come to office hours, if you can't come to class and you need to talk to me, this is how you can make a meeting. You can also just drop me an email. All right, let's go back to the syllabus and walk through the rest of it. Last thing about office hours is that Hannah and Katie, our TAs, are going to be available to you for help as well. Send them an email. We're still working on finishing up the details of when their office hours are going to be and if they're even going to have them. But it's likely that they're going to have them. And they're here to help you, again, with your programming projects, with your semester projects, and with writing. So anything that basically you're working through in this course, they're there to help you. And if they are running into issues where they don't know what to do, they'll contact us and we'll all work together to solve the problem. All right, so that's the logistics of how we're going to meet. Now let's talk through some of the course structure. We're going to be assigning you a few different things to work on every week, and a lot of it is going to be done on your time whenever you have it asynchronously. So a typical week is going to look like this. You're either going to watch or you're going to attend my 15 or 20-minute lectures. I'm going to give 2 of them in most weeks. I will let you know if there's a week where I'm only giving 1. So you can either come to my office hours and watch live, or you can view the recording on Blackboard, or you can just look at my slides, which are actually already on Blackboard, but they're subject to change, of course. So you're going to watch those 2 lectures. If there's a field trip that week, you're going to watch the virtual field trip videos and complete the virtual field trip writing assignment, which is going to be just a short 15-point worksheet. If there's a scientific journal article assigned to you, you're going to read that and complete the assignment associated with it each week. And then you're also going to be spending some time working on your various projects. which includes your R coding projects, your long-term project ecology at home, your short writing assignment, tide pools, and your long writing assignment, which is either going to be on coral reefs or the rocky intertidal. Those are not all going to happen at once. I'm going to walk you through how all of that works later. If you need some details on the schedule, scroll all the way down to the bottom of our syllabus and you'll find it there. Next on the list is textbooks. I hate textbooks. That's just how I feel about it. Textbooks are really expensive. Sometimes they're exploitative. They make a new edition just to charge you extra money. That's not my thing. So that said, I don't know everything, and I think you need, or you could benefit from a book from somebody who really does know a lot about these ecosystems. So I've assigned an optional textbook called Marine Ecology, a marine biology and ecological approach by Mark Burtness. It is out of print, but there are some copies available, and the Bowdoin Student Stores has assured me that we do have enough copies for all of you to buy them. They're pretty cheap. They should only be like $7. If people are running into an issue getting the textbook and they really want it, send me an email and I'll figure something out. But again, optional textbook. It has lots of information in it that'll help you. Another optional textbook that you might find useful is actually posted on the Blackboard site, and I'll show you where that is I'll show you where that is after this. But in our resources section, you can download the textbook, the full textbook in PDF form, Environmental Physiology of Animals. That might be really helpful for you, especially when it comes to writing assignments. And then Beth has provided us with the Shoals Intertidal Guide and creatures likely to be found in the intertidal. So those are both picture guides of what you might see in the intertidal. Those are available on Blackboard as well in the resources tab. Okay. Now we're moving on to the important stuff. What are you going to do in this class? So in the tab or in the column assignments and grading, I'm giving you detailed descriptions of everything that we're going to be doing. But first, I'm just telling you, what are the assignments and how are you graded? So we are going to have one big project, which I'm calling Ecology Near Me. It's a 10-week long project and it's worth 220 points. So it's worth a big portion of your grade. And there's going to be weekly tasks associated with it. Every week for the first 8 weeks of the class, you're going to write a weekly field notebook. You're going to turn that in. You're going to record a weekly video in Flipgrid and you're going to turn that in. And then at the end, you're going to give us a big presentation about it. So really what you're going to do with this project is you're going to use the care package that we're sending you or other materials that you have around at wherever you're living. You're going to go out into the environment. You're going to find an ecosystem that you think is cool, that you might be able to record data from, and you're going to make sure that that area is safe. And then you and a buddy are going to go out and you're going to record data using our quadrat transect sampling technique that you're going to see later on. And you are going to come up with a hypothesis, make a bunch of measurements, analyze your results, and present them to us in a PowerPoint or in a presentation during week 10 of the semester. So that's a big part of your grade. And that is essentially going to replace the lab. You're going to do field trips with us, and then you're going to do this Ecology Near Me project, which is going to get you out into the field, and hopefully you're going to develop some great ecological skills. In addition to that, we're going to assign 2 writing projects, and those are associated with the writing project here at Bowdoin. So you're going to get great feedback from peer writing assistants. So the first one is you're going to write like a 3 to 4 page discussion and results section about tide pool data that I'm going to give to you in a few weeks. And then at the end of the semester, the second half of the semester, one of the only things you're going to actually be required to do during the second half of the semester is you're going to be doing this long-term writing project where you're writing essentially a full scientific paper draft. In addition to that, you will have 9 weekly lab assignments worth 15 points each, and 5 weekly R assignments for the first 5 weeks of class worth 15 points each. And then you'll also have a scientific article worksheets for 7 different papers that we're going to read. Those are worth 10 points each. We are going to have a couple of midterms. They're not like a huge deal. They're not that huge of a percentage of your grade. They're going to be available asynchronously, so you're going to be able to take them on your computer. To learn how I write tests, you're going to have a quiz in week 3 worth 15 points. You're going to have a midterm and a lab practical together worth 150 points in the middle of the semester. And then the last week of the semester, there will be an exam. It's not necessarily going to be a super full comprehensive final. It's only worth 100 points. I don't want to make it a big deal. It's just a test. You'll see that my test writing is pretty straightforward. with a lot of essays, and you're going to get partial credit for a lot of things. So, if you're an anxious person about tests, don't stress about tests in this class. They're not going to be designed to make you fail. They're going to be designed to test your knowledge and give you as many opportunities as possible to show me that you know stuff. So overall, we have 930 points available in the class. You can see what the breakdown is above. And you can read about the details of the exams here if you really want to. All right, so what do you need to succeed in this class? Because we're online and because we're all going to eventually have iPads in the very near future, I hope, I'm going to require a few pieces of technology for everybody. I'm trying to keep this list to a minimum, but do recognize that since we're online, we need to have different pieces of technology to help us. If you are a Luddite or you are not tech savvy and you need help, please email me or the TAs or Beth. One of us or all of us will help you. It's going to be okay. I'm happy to walk people through any of this stuff at any time. The Bowdoin IT department is also really wonderful and super responsive. So if you need help, there's lots of people you can ask. Do not stress. All right, first and foremost, you need our course Blackboard site, which you've already found, hopefully. Second, we're going to be using this thing called Flipgrid. So there's a link to our Flipgrid right there, and I'll show you what that is in a minute, but here's what it looks like. It's basically Snapchat for classrooms. So it's going to be pretty fun. Third, if you are not on campus, you're going to need this Cisco AnyConnect VPN client. What that does is it allows you to access stuff that you can only access if you are on campus Wi-Fi, like the campus library, science library to look up papers, or your microwave account, or we're going to be using rstudio.bowdoin.edu. So in order to access this stuff off campus, you need the Cisco AnyConnect VPN. If you need help with this, please send me an email. All right. 1 second here. Okay. So in addition to the VPN client, you're going to need to try to access rstudio.bowdoin.edu. It is an online instance of R. That means you don't have to download and install R or RStudio onto your computer. You can do everything through this online instance of R. It's a virtual computer, essentially. So you need to have the VPN client installed. You need to make sure it's activated, and then you should be able to log in to rstudio.bowdoin.edu. We're going to be using this at our very first synchronous class on Friday, so please try to get that done. In addition to that, if you want, you can download you can have access to your Bowdoin microwave account for file storage if that's what you want to do. I don't have Bowdoin microwave because I'm new and they can't figure out how to set it up for some reason. But if that's something you need to store data on, feel free to use it. And then lastly, I do recommend that you download the iNaturalist app. It will be really helpful for you for doing IDs of your organisms that you see in the field. And if you really want, if you're into programming or you think you might want to learn how to do more stuff with it, download R and RStudio onto your actual device. Of note, this will not work on your iPad. If you have a computer, either a Mac, a Linux, or a PC, you can download R and RStudio and they will work great. You can use RStudio, bowdoin.rstudio.cloud or whatever that's called, rstudio.bowdoin.edu. You can use that cloud instance of R on your iPad, but you cannot use R downloaded on your iPad. If you have questions about that, please ask me. Our attendance policy is basically come if you want. You're going to learn more if you do, but if you can't come, that's okay. Please try to be present as often as you can. Try to interact with us. If you're starting to miss a lot, please let us know. If there's anything we can do to help you out, that's great. Classroom behavior, I already talked about. We encourage you to have your video on, but it's not mandatory. And in addition to that, we are going to be doing a lot of discussion and group work. Be respectful to other people, myself, Beth, the TAs, your fellow colleagues, your fellow students. And then lastly, it is in your best interest to take notes, pay attention, and participate, but we're not going to police you very hard. You do whatever you need to do. All right, I do have a nice big statement here about anti-racism and equity in the course. I just want to point out that we're working towards, as a university, we're working towards being better about recognizing, understanding, and trying to alleviate some of the issues of racism that occur in the academy, in the classroom, and just around us in our everyday lives. This is still a work in progress for everybody, including me, but some steps that I'm taking here are that we're trying to hear from as many diverse voices as we can in the field of marine ecology, which is predominantly white and male. But we're going to try to decentralize that voice, even though That's the one you're hearing right now. I did try to decolonize my syllabus so that I'm featuring readings from people of all different backgrounds from all over the world. And I want to make sure that we talk about different ways and styles that people can think about things, and that we really do have an open dialogue about this kind of stuff. And I'm sure that I will make mistakes. I've already at least made one today. But I'm going to work to be better every day. And I'm happy to have conversations with folks about equity and anti-racism, or any kind of inequality that they feel like they're facing in general in life. And I'm open to discussion about these issues with anybody at any time. So if you want to engage on these issues, whether it's related to this class or not, please get in touch with me. I'm more than happy to listen and talk and understand kind of where you're coming from and what you're thinking or what you're struggling with. So let's just keep that dialogue open. All right. Last couple things here, some resources for your success. You all know better than me probably about this stuff because I'm brand new here. But if you're struggling in this course or in others, reach out to your instructors, myself, Beth, the TAs. We're here to help you. Lastly, if you need assistance beyond us, here are some folks at the Baldwin Center for Teaching and Learning that you might want to get in touch with. If you have accessibility needs, you can contact Leslie Levy at the Accessibility Office. And then lastly, we are going to be working with the writing project on your writing assignments. More details on that to come. But you can get in touch with them through this link. So here at the bottom of the syllabus is your course assignment schedule. I have it differentiated out by weeks because what even is a day anymore? So every week we're going to have topics, activities, readings if there are any, and assignments due. The only readings that are required are the ones that are in bold. Those are academic papers that are already posted on our course Blackboard page. All the other readings that are MB, that's this marine biology book, and it's optional. You don't have to read any of it. You can read pieces of it. You can skim it, whatever you want. It's just background reading that will help you understand the topics that we're discussing in class. The most important thing here is to look at what assignments are due. There's a bunch of different assignments that are going to be due throughout the class. And you can see all of that right there. So we're done talking about the syllabus. Now I want to walk you through a couple of other things. Okay. So on the class meetings page of our Blackboard page, you can find a way to schedule a meeting with me. You can click on this link here to go to your Zoom class meetings. So our Friday synchronous course meetings are right here. Every single Friday, you can click that link and get there. Our Tuesday night makeup and abroad meeting is right here. And then my office hours on Tuesday here and Thursday right here. If we go back to class meetings, recorded class meetings and lectures are going to go in this tab. So I will record, every time I record a lecture or record a class meeting, I will post it right there for you to see. Okay, so assignments. We have a bunch of different assignments. And I don't want this video to get super long. So I'm not going to talk through all of them today, but I'm going to ask you to read these assignments in their entirety and come with questions on Friday or on Tuesday, whichever day you come to class, or to my office hours. And let's talk about the assignments. So the assignments are written in detail. Every single detail you need, including grades and what we're expecting from you, is here. So the first one is this ecology near Mir project. You can see that it's quite long. I've given you a nice rubric for how we're going to grade you. And at the end, there's a schedule that tells you exactly what you need to do every week. I will probably record a short video about this next week, but I don't want to make this video super, super long. Okay, so that's ecology near me. Next, there's another tab for our lab assignments. You can click on that. And all of your lab assignments for the semester will be in here. Right now, I've only got week 1, the plankton worksheet for you. So what that means is you're going to watch the plankton week 1 field trip videos, and then you're going to do this, this plankton worksheet. All right, every time we read a scientific paper, we're going to have a scientific paper reading worksheet, which is going to correspond to a discussion that we're going to have on Fridays. All I really need you to do is read the paper, do this assignment before you come to class, and then turn it in here on Blackboard. All of the assignments that we're doing this semester can be turned in here on Blackboard in the assignments tab. All right, we're also going to be doing 5 R programming assignments, the details of which are in here. So you can click on this R programming assignments tab. You can see the assignments. I'm going to give them to you in HTML format every week. And then you are going to produce a document and turn it in to me by clicking on one of these tabs, right? So here's where you can submit your RStudio assignments to me. Again, we're in the assignments tab of Blackboard. We also have a short paper, the tide pool analysis and discussion paper, the details of which you can see right here. And lastly, there's going to be a term paper on coral reefs and the rocky intertidal, the details of which have not been posted yet, but they will be up there very shortly. Okay, what else do I have for you? That's the assignments tab, the resources tab. Yeah, you can again schedule a meeting with me. Here's the environmental physiology of animals textbook. If you want to learn more about R and data science, here's a link for that. And then here's a link to our course Flipgrid page. Discussions is actually not a space that I have anything in right now. If y'all are really feeling like we need to have a discussion forum, I'm leaving that tab open for us, and we can start one if we really want to. Okay, the last couple things here. Every week, there's going to be a weekly tab where you can get your weekly field trip information, the slides for the lectures. Those are all going to be posted right here. So right now you can see I've got our weekly field trip assignment, which is right here. You already saw that in the assignments tab, but I posted it in 2 places so you can find it easily. You turn it in the assignments tab. Here's our first field trip. You're going to watch these videos. This first one on plankton sampling, and then a couple other ones that we've included for you that are fun. And then you're going to do this assignment and turn it in the assignments tab. Week 2, we're going to be talking about rocky intertidal. So I've given you a nice video playlist here for you to watch. Note that some of these videos are indeed video playlists, which means that a bunch of videos are going to play. They're all coming from my YouTube channel. There's a link to them right here if you need that, but you can see in the top right corner that there's 4 videos in this playlist. So you're going to watch all 4. There's 19 videos in this playlist. They're very short. They're all about individual organisms. You can watch all of them, or you can watch only some of them this week if you want, because some of them are about tide pool organisms in addition to rocky intertidal. Week 3, we're going to be talking about the tide pools. Here's your field trip. Here's your organism playlist. Again, this is the same one from last week, but we want you to be really comfortable with it. And then here's your slides and an optional paper that I included for fun. And we're going to keep going through every week. You'll be able to find our content in this area of Blackboard. Okay, so I want to leave you with one more thing. Every week for the first 8 weeks of the course, as part of your Ecology Near Me assignment, you're going to be recording a 1-minute video on Flipgrid. You can also have the option of giving an introduction video on Flipgrid. So the way that you get to Flipgrid is you can see it in our resources channel, link to our course Flipgrid. So you click on that, you sign into Flipgrid. Here it is, biology of marine organisms, and you have an option to introduce yourself. So there's already one video here that I recorded and a site intro. So you go to this introduce yourself option and you can record a response, and you can use your phone, you can use your iPad, you can use your computer, and you can record a video if you want. You can put filters on it, you can add stickers, whatever. It's basically Snapchat. You can not have your video on and just record an audio response. Just introduce yourself, say who you are, kind of why you're here. And you can see that I've already got a response. So here's what mine looks like. Well, that's awkward. Great. So every week I'm going to be posting a place for you to record your weekly video about your field trip or about your Ecology Near Me project in this space. So keep an eye on the Flipgrid and be ready to use it. If you have questions about it, let me know. I'm going to record a more detailed video on the Ecology Near Me project in the near future. Okay, so that's just kind of the basics of the course. This would otherwise be done on the first day of class, but because we only have 1 day of class and we're supposed to have 3, I'm just giving it to you ahead of time. So that's all for me. You can get in touch with me via email. If you have questions about what I've talked about today, I'm sure things are going to be confusing, but we're here to work through it together. Okay, so I'm excited to have you in class, and I will see you next week.